Thankful Thursday! Hi everybody, how are you?
Hello everybody.
This week's Thankful Thursday we're finding out all about Kristina and her yoga story and the things that got her into yoga. So do you want to start with that, Kristina? How did you get into yoga? What happened?
Oh, good question. Well, I think I dabbled. Like, I was really into fitness. I probably over-exercised. Yeah, one of those ones.
Yeah.
And then, but it had always been too woo-woo, and the people had always been a bit weird, all of that stuff, whatever. So, I got...
Hopefully not now.
No, we're not woo-woo or weird. No.
Not in the least.
But I had glandular fever at 23 and didn't look after myself, so ended up in this place of chronic fatigue, and also when I had my period I would end up writhing in pain, like it was debilitating pain. And where I was working, a acupuncturist was just around the corner, so I was scared of needles, but I was in so much pain physically and probably emotionally. I just wasn't connected to my feelings at that point. So I went to the acupuncturist, and she happened to also be a yoga teacher. So she stuck needles in me, sorted out my diet, stopped me drinking, stopped me eating dairy, stopped me eating gluten, and said, you need to practice yoga because your part of the pain is coming from the fact that your core is so weak, including your core, and yoga will strengthen your core.
Well, so even though you've been a fitness bunny, or whatever you might call it, you didn't actually have very good core strength.
Because I wasn't exercising from an integrated, connected place. I was just like thrashing my body. So I was doing pump, which is a weights class. I was running, I was doing swimming, but no, my core was not stable or connected or strong. Yoga fixed that, not pump. I still do pump today, and I love it. But I do it now in a completely different way because of the fact that I have this ability to connect my core that I didn't before yoga.
So that was when in your 20s, was it?
Yes, so I got glandular fever at like 22, so probably about 25 was when I was... I got glandular fever when I was, younger. It was probably more like 23, 24.
And so what kept you with it? Because you're, I'd have to say, perhaps not 23 or 24 anymore.
No, I'm not.
and I think we've said in other recordings that we've done yoga for 20 years, so you can do the math. So what's kept you with it though?
It's the fact that I got results, that I had been to so many doctors to try and find out what was wrong with me and how they could fix the pain, and they didn't know. And then I saw this acupuncturist who told me how to do yoga, and my life transformed. And almost within months, like immediately. And it was phenomenal. So the fact that I got results, but then the thing with yoga is that you never stop getting results, because yoga it taps into the infinite potential of your life, and so we're always progressing and diving deeper into a different layer of ourselves. So I stick with it because I keep learning and growing through the practice of yoga, which I probably don't get to the same degree in any other part of my life.
Wow.
But it then filters into the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because the rest of my life benefits from the transformation that, so as an example, right, I do pump in a much better way now because of yoga than before yoga.
Okay, so if I can take a bit of a tangent, because my next question was about the transformation. So do you think that other areas of your life, not just fitness, have transformed because of yoga?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So any examples you care to share?
My relationship with myself. So when I started yoga, I was living in self-loathing. I really hated myself. I really didn't like myself. I was disconnected from my feelings and my emotions. So I remember the first night that I was lying in bed having a feeling and going, holy moly, this feels awful, because I shut down the feelings because obviously there were awful feelings that I didn't want to be feeling. And then going, oh no goodness, I hope I've never made anyone in life feel this awful. Because you realize when you can feel that, other people can feel that too, but when you shut down from your feelings, then you don't know what it feels like. Through that process, obviously, I was able to feel joy and happiness, because if I've shut down feeling sadness, then I've also shut down feeling joy, because you can't just shut down one
emotion. Emotions are kind of tamped down, right down, no matter which ones they are.
Exactly. So if one's down, all of them are down. And so I live from a higher state of joy and bliss than I ever have. I have way more energy. Like I said, before yoga, I was experiencing chronic fatigue. Now people look at me and they are like, you are one hell of an energizer bunny.
For sure.
And I'm twice as old as what I was before I started yoga.
Yeah.
And my body is still doing phenomenal things today, because I'm moving it consistently. So the transformation, before yoga, there was no way that I could do the splits or handstands or balances or any of the funky stuff that I do, drop back. Any of that funky stuff wasn't happening. Well, guess what? Now it does.
Wow. Yeah. So lots of people may probably have an affinity, or really get into yoga and it's transformed their lives, but not everybody takes the next step to become a teacher.
Yeah.
So what was it, or what is it that puts you into that space now?
When I came back so I guess I got to a point in my own practice where, so I practiced at home mainly by myself because I had kids and they were young, so I would practice around their sleep times. I would practice when they were sleeping. And then there was something that called me. I really wanted to find my teacher. So I really wanted to take the next step and have a teacher, because when you find your teacher, then that's when you really start growing. So I was introduced to a woman, Katie Lane, here in Christchurch, New Zealand, and she became my teacher. And she also introduced me to many other teachers like Benita Wolf, Desiree Rumba, Noah Maze, Christine Dufresne, who I'm working with at the moment. So a lot of international teachers. Mark Holzman, the list goes on, right? So Tara Judell,
the list goes on.
John Friend, so all of these phenomenal teachers. So then at some point, because having the teacher again took my transformation to the next level, I wanted to share that joy that yoga had brought to my life. And I also wanted to deepen my understanding and my learning of how yoga does what it does.
Okay.
Because if you're coming to a yoga class and a teacher says, today we're practicing inspiration, and you run through an hour of asana and breathing and all of that stuff, and you leave and you feel different, and it stays, and then, how does that work?
Right, really intrigued you.
Yeah, I'm someone who likes to really understand how things work, the mechanics behind. It's not just enough for me to turn up to a class and feel good.
Okay, so you wanted to deepen your own practice, but then it still takes something else to then want to share it, because I know several people who've done the yoga teacher training but actually have never stepped onto the mat in front of a class, because or apart from their training, because that's not their thing. So what is it that keeps you turning up?
It's a calling.
Yeah.
It's a calling. It is. It's a calling. And I know that Veronica said that too, and I'm not it's just there's something that I wouldn't be who I am if I wasn't sharing the message of yoga. and I think it is because I moved from being numb to being physically in pain, emotionally numb, to emotionally in pain, and now physically strong and emotionally and spiritually and psychologically strong. And it was yoga that did that. And I am a million times better human being than the human being who started the practice of yoga 20 something years ago. So if I can, my dad gave me, when I was about 8, a picture, a framed picture, and on the picture it said, if I can stop one heart from breaking, help cool one pain, ease one life the aching, I shall not live in vain.
Wow, when you were 8?
Yeah. And so that sat on my bedroom wall, and it's almost like that he knew that that was my life's purpose. And so it was on my wall, and yoga helps me fulfill that purpose.
Wow.
But I obviously figured out along the journey that the first heart I had to stop from breaking, and the first pain I had to cool, and the first life I had to stop from aching was my own. So that I could.
It was a good lesson, though, wasn't it?
It was, because then from that place I can support other people in their journey.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're working together. What inspired you to work in this way with me, or with, you know, how did this happen? This yoga business happen? What was that transformation or inspiration, do you think?
Well, you're fabulous.
And together we're more fabulous together. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we both had a desire and a yearning in our hearts for something to be created where we could offer the transformational power of yoga. And thank you, Tony Robbins. We spent the 4 days together doing UPW, and the inspiration came. And the inspiration was so strong, but the calling in our own hearts, and this is, I guess, like I had the calling to find my teacher, and I did. Then I had the calling, and you had the calling, that I wanted to create something that could just touch thousands of people's lives in a really positive way and just make their lives better, and yoga is essential for that. And then you and I had that shared vision, and
here we are doing
something that we love, and knowing that it will bring peace and joy and love to anyone who steps on the path.
Marvellous.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your story with us today, Kristina. It's been a blessing.
Thank you, Audrey. Thank you for being part of my path and journey.
You're welcome. And you guys,
Thank
namaste.
You. Namaste.